Start to play. Okie dokie. Mamma mia! Game over. Thank you so much for playing my game.
Thank you. and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. Today we are moving on to Division D West with PeelTeamSix versus Lightly Salted. I am your host, Cat Peach. I am joined yet again by BKL. BKL, how you doing, my friend?
I am still doing wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. We are promptly starting this game because our teams are right on time today. So let's get this match started between the two. While we get into the draft, let's catch people up on what happened during the coin flip. So Lightly Salted, winning that coin flip, decided that they wanted to pick first hero in this match, so they will be over on the right. And they end up banning Towers of Doom as well and picking Infernal Shrines for map number 2 this evening. On the side of PeelTeamSix, banning out Brax's Holdout and taking us to where we are for game number 1, Battlefield of Eternity. BKL, give us your thoughts on Battlefield. What do you think we're going to see this go around?
Love Battlefield of Eternity. Such a brawl-heavy map with those fights around the Immortal. A hero I think we're definitely going to be seeing is Hanzo. Such great race on this map and such high priority for so many teams. But we start off with a Yrel ban just being so dominant in the solo lane.
Yeah, we were commentating last game about the pure absence of Yrel, so it's good to see, you know, stepping up a little bit, teams getting comfortable with either banning her out or knowing what kind of threat she poses. The Zeratul, not typically common, so either targeting Lightly Salted or simply something that PeelTeamSix decides they don't want to deal with on this map.
Yeah, my guess is PeelTeamSix has some sort of scrim info or former game info of they played this and they stomped with it. Let's not give it to them. Something to note, Lightly Salted coming in so far has won both their series with 2-0 sweeps. So coming in 4-0, and PeelTeamSix having a tough start, lost their first game, and this is game number 2 for them. So they are coming in with an 0-2 record.
Yeah, that's it's interesting having to face up against a team that's starting off is, you know, undefeated thus far. At the same time, kind of gives you, depending on how you research it, you know, means for finding what were their potential flaws early on, and can we kind of find drafts that really make those obvious, which is hard for a lot of teams. There's that Hanzo that you talked about, so not too much of a surprise there coming out for Lightly Salted.
Not that surprising at all. So strong on this map. And instant response with a Genji Arcanus. Genji great overall for these team fights, for picks, just the damage output. And Arcanus with amateur opponent on 1, not too shabby at racing himself.
Yeah, not too shabby at that. Also potential combo there with A1 Sergeant Hammer that I have definitely seen in the past, a hero that on Battlefield does tend to come up every once in a while, now that there's been a bit more of a prominence of her in the pro scene, so being able to swap an opponent into that range of hers could be devastating. In response,
Lightly Salted picking up the Johanna, such a strong tank, good area control with her unstoppable and decent wave clear, and the Jimmy Raynor. Love what Lightly Salted has right now. 2 fantastic supports, just great overall in this game and on this map.
Yeah, for sure. And the Falstad ban coming in and just nixing that possibility out. Wondering what we might potentially be able to see in that role instead. There is still chances for something like Stukov, or even Alex Straza on this map if you're really trying to evade into your opponent's Immortal here. And there's that Stukov ban.
There goes that Stukov. Now, Lightly Salted, not up yet. It's PeelTeamSix right now. They need a healer. There's Malf and a tank. That's Variant. Lightly Salted still needs both their solo and their healer. And judging by what past games have shown, I could see actually a Lucio coming in. They've played it quite a bit. Both in their first match, they played it on both maps.
Interesting. I feel like Lucio's not the support we tend to see on this map, given that it's 2 lanes, and having that speed boost is absolutely, you know, devastating. There's on like triple. Yeah,
there's the Lucio.
There's the Lucio. I definitely wouldn't have thought it, but play what you know, and if it's worked, don't you know, try to change it. And there's the Sergeant Hammer. I like them taking it away from the possible Artanis swap.
Very much so. And With Lightly Salted, the question now comes up, who solos there against the Artanis? Will it be that Raynor or will it be that Hammer? Likely going to be the Raynor into that 1v1 there, the range giving a bit of an advantage on Artanis not having that real dedicated solo laner. And PeelTeamSix picking up the Li Ming as their last pick, looking for a bit more poke damage on the Immortal and moving into a double reset comp with a taunt variant, most likely.
Yeah, very interesting there. I do like the focus on the range of Li Ming to be able to harass that Sergeant Hammer, because a lot of teams simply don't think of having the tools to safely engage that or to go all in. And this definitely, even with the Genji, doesn't seem entirely all in on diving on her. So being able to poke from afar and make sure you really whittle her down, very, very important here. Overall, though, looking at these two drafts, is there a clear winner? I feel like there's a lot of situations where both these drafts can be extremely well, or can do extremely well. And I don't know if there's really a favorite in my mind going into this.
Definitely. Both comps have their strengths, their weaknesses. If we're...
I think you got muted again?
My microphone loves me.
No, microphone, please.
But anyways, like as I was trying to say before my mic rudely cut me off, I love what Lightly Salted has for race. Hanzo, Raynor, Scary Alone, adding a Hammer for that extra poke range. But PeelTeamSix, if they get that isolation from a potential swap into a variant taunt with a double reset comp, that could just start a snowball fight for them. But if I had to pick one of these two comps, I think I'd have to go with Lightly Salted here.
Yeah, I think they have a bit more of a cohesive draft, I would say. There are pieces that I see with PeelTeamSix. It's just about whether or not this team can make them all work together, and sometimes that's very, very difficult. So going into game number 1, we're going to have to see if that's exactly what they can do. Here in the blue, we'll have PeelTeamSix, and we're going to have Hellblood on Varian, Blazem on Genji, Mesdrick on Artanis, Jinni Ringo on Malfurion, and Philly P on Li Ming.
The battle begins in 10 seconds.
And in the red, we're going to have Wafflecopter on that Hanzo, Resonance on Sergeant Hammer, Absolute Yoda on Lucio, Delta on Johanna, and Arch Valley on the Raynor.
Apparently my mic really does not like me tonight.
Oh, microphone, please. Microphone, please behave for all of us. We're sending you vibes, sending our energy to your side.
All right. And it actually looks like it's going to be Varian up top right now against that Sergeant Hammer, with Artanis coming down bot into the 4-man.
Yeah, very interesting matchup there. I'm wondering if that's... Now, there's Hellblood going in thinking Hammer was safe. Ends up getting a chunk of damage off of her. I wonder how that matchup is going to go. Or if simply Artanis is looking for an easy swap kill here in bottom before switching up that rotation. But the blinds end up...
Artanis swaps himself into death.
Yeah, into death. Not necessarily where you want that swap to go. Part of the danger of running Artanis, but great follow-up, great reflexes on the side of Lightly Salted, being able to capitalize on that kill.
Definitely. Now on level 1, we have coming out, for the Variant, we actually have a High King's Quest coming out, looking for that a bit of extra damage. And Malfurion, after losing that Nature Swiftness a few patches ago, goes with the Shamba's Clarity for the faster innervates, looking to give Li Ming that extra mana. And on the side of Sergeant Hammer, not going with the stealth talent like we usually see, instead looking for the Maelstrom rounds for that activatable extra 35% damage.
Very interesting choices coming out from both these teams. Mesdrick, again, getting really far in there. Raynor poking a lot of damage as well, especially with that spray with every 4th bullet. So lots of damage coming out from that side. And so far with this camp, it seems like Lightly Salted pulling ahead in the early game.
Very much so. Now, I know what they're thinking of having the Variant up top against that Hammer, trying to make it a little less of a mismatch. but I really think their 4-man is struggling not having a real tank with them. Though that might just be until they hit level 4 for the taunt. But twice now, Artanis has just gotten focused down and blown up.
Yeah, that's really rough, and it's hard to say whether or not Artana is simply playing a 2-bit far forward. It's easy to capitalize on it. You also can't discount the damage coming out from Hanzo and Raynor, especially from that distance. So I think there's a lot of factors to play there. Hoping to see some adjustments in playstyle coming out from them later this game.
Yep, and it looks like exactly what we were thinking here. They just wanted to get 4 so that Varian could become the real tank they need with the taunt. Because now we see the Artanis up top against that Sergeant Hammer. And something to note here, Sergeant Hammer again swapping up this build. Going with Barricade on level 4 instead of the Neo-Plating to give her the Unstoppable.
Oh, but they invade from Lightly Salted, being able to take out Varian and Li Ming right before these Immortals start, giving them a few seconds to get ahead on this race.
The Varian, the Ming, and they invade the camp and get the cap there.
Now, so far, this is seemingly playing right into the hands of Lightly Salted, as they seemingly are getting everything they want. They had that top camp push, being able to invade on the bottom camp, or their opponent's camp, as well as along with getting that bottom camp early on in this game. Hammer taking up a very safe position, now racing this Immortal. This is going to be nearly a full shield for their first Immortal in this game.
Full health, full shield for Lightly Salted. They have to love what they get coming out of this.
Yeah, it can't really be a more beautiful painted picture for them. Hammer going to start heading down to the bottom lane, splitting, being able to match up against that Artanis, soak a little bit more while this Immortal starts to barrel down this top lane.
Definitely, and with that Immortal pushing, Team Lightly Salted going to look to get more of an experience lead than they already have. Now, Li Ming on the side of Team PeelTeamSix did go into Charge Blasts for the extra auto attack damage on marked targets from magic missiles. Just looking to go into more of a standard poke build with that magic missile build.
Lots of damage coming onto Malfurion, going to the back, trying to heal up that Li Ming as well, but it's looking like this fort's going to fall, and for a first Immortal already getting a fort 5 minutes into the game is probably, I can't think of a better case scenario for anyone. And now with
Lightly
this,
Salted has to be happy with how that ended for them. They get level 7s off of it, and Hanzo, though, does go down. That beautiful taunt into a Li Ming combo does end up getting PeelTeamSix the level 7 talents they so desperately needed.
yeah, so desperately needed. Now they can set their eyes on this top siege camp, not having to worry about that lack of talent being at a disadvantage. Artanis scoping out the bottom, making sure Hammer's not up to anything tricky while trying to pair up in the bottom lane for now. But all eyes are up here at top as we have Hanzo returning to the rest of their team. And
Very
4-on-4 matching up here. We're going to have to see if something ends up breaking at this point with this level 8 advantage for Lightly Salted.
Yes, and again, Hammer on 7 going into graduating range, not looking for that movement, instead looking to get that extra siege range.
And let's just talk about that pick real fast onto Lucio. The focus coming out of PeelTeamSix was absolutely fantastic, getting them back to even experience, more or less, against their opponents, giving them time to rotate down to the bottom. No camps available just yet. They might have time to grab this bottom siege camp before the Immortal spawn, or play it safe, wait for their own to come back in 40 seconds, start the Immortal in the time being, but they are prepped to simply start chunking down on their opponent's Immortal.
Yeah, they took Lucio down and they're like, okay, they killed us in a Immortal race last time, let's just go for that. Artanis, though, swapped himself into a really bad spot here and ends up being taken down by all 3 damage dealers on the side of the Salted.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, Absolute Yoda, again, getting focused down to quite a bit of health, ends up speed boosting away. And for now, PeelTeamSix defending on their own, knowing that their opponents are about to get level 10, also grabbing that bottom camp when they weren't looking, so they're going to have to start spreading out and possibly give up some damage on their Immortal.
Definitely, and you can see when PeelTeamSix hit level 4 and as they get later in this game, you can really see what they were looking for with that taunt into a full blow-up comp. Now, PeelTeamSix seems lightly salted, pick up their level 10s, they're like, okay, let's not fight this, let's split off, let's safe soak this, let's get level 10 for ourselves. And with lightly salted having level 10, we get the Dragon Arrow from the Hanzo looking for that stun. The Napalm Strike looking for more sustained damage, though a taunt comes in from Varian, and Johanna is on the back line here.
Yeah,
Stuns out.
Lightly Salted trying to take advantage of that level 10 that they have for now, being able to take out the Varian. And with that, Residents immediately sieging up the rest of the team, focusing on the Bruiser camp. While the remains of PeelTeamSix trying to do what they can, but Artanis is up in the top lane trying to take out that camp before it can do too much damage.
Yep, and Artanis does manage to soak level 10 for his team, but they are still down Varian, who's just now coming up, so they're going to have to give the halftime show here and reset Immortals, hoping for a position that will help them out here. And it is level 10 now for the side of PeelTeamSix. We get the Warbringer from Varian, X-Strike on the side of Genji, Suppression Pulse, really going to be harming to all three strong auto attackers on the side of Lightly Salted. You get the Twilight Dream from Malfree, looking for that full blow up, which they nearly get onto Hammer, but a beautiful sound barrier ends up saving that Hammer's life.
Yeah, they ignored Hanzo for a lot of that fight, able to miss out on the suppression pulls, and so Wafflecopter able to finish the Immortal, but not without two of their teammates going down in the process. And now Artanis with eyes set on Wafflecopter. The Dragon Arrow goes out and trying to stop it, but ends up missing. But now Artanis being chased by this Hanzo and Lucio, able to get away. But this is still, again, a full shield, full health Immortal coming down this bottom lane in favor of Lightly Salted.
Very much so, but I think as these Immortals start pushing and these waves start coming out, we really start to see an issue within the comp of PeelTeamSix, and that's their real lack of wave clear here. They just have a hard time clearing up the Immortals, even without the other team pushing in with them.
Yeah, they haven't been able to capitalize too much on those picks that we talked about in draft and trying to get that early experience lead, staggering those deaths so their opponents can't have those full siege pushes. So now that the Immortal is cleared up, they're going to have to reset, try to find where they can get some kind of advantage on this map. Johanna is showing solo up top.
Yeah, Lightly Salted seeing all 5 showing bot to clear up that Immortal, make the rotation up to top siege and just cap it.
Artanis now showing down there. It looks like the invade's coming to yet again get Mesdrick. Mesdrick trying to 1v1.
He's in trouble.
Suppression Pulse goes out to try to buy a bit of time.
And it buys him a bit, but it will not be enough. That Blessed Shield coming out from Johanna. They take down Artanis and take down that bottom floor.
Artanis is playing very dangerously and playing very far forward when the rest of their team doesn't have eyes on the members of Lightly Salted. So able to capitalize on those rotations. It's a smaller map, being able to swap between lanes quickly to get those ganks has been a great call on the side of Lightly Salted throughout this game.
Definitely. Artanis has been playing really deep, living on the edge here, looking to see if he can make something happen.
Yeah, trying to make something happen, but when you don't have the rest of your team, there's only so much a swap and a suppression pulse is really going to do. We have 20 seconds before our next Immortal. 13 already grabbed for Lightly Salted. PeelTeamSix going to have to give up again in the early game. Hope that they can soak to 13 in time. The Dragon Arrow goes out, stunning 3.
Dragon Arrow comes in, followed up by a Blessed Shield. Taunt comes out onto Johanna, and that huge blow-up comes out from the Twilight Dream and the X-Strike.
A beautiful blow-up and exactly the relief that PeelTeamSix was looking for. Now able to focus their efforts on chucking down this Immortal to try to get their first out of this game. But we're going to have to see if they can erase a Hammer and a Hanzo and a Rainer.
Yeah. You take down the Johanna, but the issue is they still have all their Immortal race. They still have all their damage. And even with PeelTeamSix getting 5 on it and getting a lead at the start, getting on it sooner, Lightly Salted takes the halftime show.
Yeah, it takes the halftime show.
No, they don't. Never mind.
Not even taking the halftime show, and then rotating to clear that bottom wave, which allowed that race team to race even farther ahead.
But it will be PeelTeamSix picking up this Immortal.
Being able to barely pick it up. Not much of a shield but it is their first, and they can finally start focusing on doing some structure damage finally in this game.
Exactly. And this is where I think PeelTeamSix really wants to be, pushing with this Immortal, looking to see if they can get a pick off while Lightly Salted's trying to clear, looking if they can get a full blow up with that Genji Li Ming, and just poking down some structures with those Ming magic missiles and the arcane orbs.
Yeah, and most heroics are online. Disintegrate is coming out along with the taunt onto Johanna.
Dragon Arrow.
Yeah, Dragon Arrow went out. I didn't see it really do too much, but when we're talking about the damage coming out from Lightly Salted, a quick cleanup of that Immortal. Hardly anything gamed except for the gate in a tower.
Yeah, the thing that really matters for PeelTeamSix, there isn't so much that they barely got anything with that Immortal. It's that Lightly Salted didn't get that Immortal. It gives them a chance to start catching up in XP, start making a few things start happening, just trying to get back into this game. Down both forts to Lightly Salted, still in both forts up. That not losing that Immortal lets them stay in this game a lot more.
It looks like Mesdrich did expect that 5-man rotation coming in from their opponents and stayed mounted, able to horse right on out of there. Good learning from knowing that their team is going to respond in that way if Artanis is showing.
Very much so.
Now this bottom push, we have 5 members of Lightly Salted down here with a camp to boot. So PeelTeamSix going to have to respond with all members. 16 will be approaching very soon for their opponents. So if PeelTeamSix wants to get a kill before this Immortal phase, it's going to have to be soon before they're at a talent disadvantage.
Very much. PeelTeamSix got to be looking for a fight here. They're a fight team. They're a blow-up team. They want these fights, which is, I like Lightly Salted taking this slow, playing that macro game, grabbing this bruiser to push during the Immortal, setting up to burn this down, because they have that burn to make PeelTeamSix initiate, make them make these initiations and possibly make a mistake. Varying really deep here by himself.
Yeah, really deep. Both teams, it looks like PeelTeamSix's Immortal yet again taking most of the damage this time around. And PeelTeamSix not necessarily first thinking to clear the camp in top, and instead hanging out here in the mid, knowing that they're going to have to defend, or else this next push from their opponents is going to be painful.
They do get defensive positionings that should allow them to swap someone off to clear the camp. Instead, they go deep, and they get the Hanzo and the hammer. That's exactly what PeelTeamSix needed to happen.
That is exactly what they need, and Malfurion ends up going down. Hellblood is incredibly low, trying to back away. No longer has the heals either. Trying to focus down Delta, but Delta able to get away. And with the speed boost coming from Lucio, the swap! The swap!
Oh my god, swap! Genji goes in with that swift strike, takes out Johanna.
That was an amazing swap coming out there from Blazin. That should absolutely allow PeelTeamSix to try to get into this Immortal. They're one opponent ahead, but they sent Artanis back to clear this camp that's already taking down their top gate, which is going to give time to that Hanzo, to that hammer to return to their opponents and reset this fight.
Definitely. I see what PeelTeamSix is going. They're like, okay, this camp's going to do a lot of damage to this keep. We got to clear it, and I can understand that, not wanting to lose even more. And it's good they did get those picks, because otherwise, Lightly Salted would have seen that player square off and said, okay, let's engage. And I like a funky charge there by Varian, getting stuck up on that rock after the Hanzo jump.
I would have liked to see PeelTeamSix do some kind of engage prior to the Sound Barrier being up, but without Twilight Dream and without Li Ming's Disintegrate, it was really hard to do that. Sound Barrier ends up coming out. The health bars for PeelTeamSix are chunking. The Suppression Pulse comes out, but it's not enough to save Artanis. And now Lightly Salted are on the chase.
Huge X-Strike coming in for Genji, but a beautiful Sound Barrier on the side of Absolute Yoda. Just saves so many lives there. And we do end up with a 2-for-1 trade right now with Artanis and Varian. The tanks of PeelTeamSix going down for the Hanzo. And with Hammer and Raynor still up, this should be the Immortal going over the side of Lightly Salted.
Absolutely, and Lightly Salted played so smart, just being so patient, waiting for their Hanzo and their Hammer to return back to the battlefield before attempting to do any more damage to the Immortal. And it's earned them now an Immortal that's pushing in this top lane, or bottom lane. Top lane is still pushed out in their favor, but they're going to focus all their efforts down here for the time being until Hanzo has returned. We'll have to see if they can possibly get a keep.
PeelTeamSix does have Artanis and Varian back on the field, so this will, for a little bit, be a 5v4 as Hanzo still needs to make that long rotation from the Hall of the Storms to where this Immortal is pushing at PeelTeamSix's keep. The Disintegrate comes down and taking a bit of the shielding off, trying to get it into melee range. And the shielding has been burned off.
Yeah, shield's been burned off. Now it's going right into the keep. Will provide a bit more damage. A beautiful dragon arrow coming out. Artanis ends up falling. And Delta going in. Blaze barely gets away. The taunt from Variant came out, but there was nothing to follow up. And this Immortal still has a little bit of health left. Do Lightly Salted try to end?
They might. Looks like they're thinking about it. They got Hammer sieged up. They're throwing out that damage. Johanna's still okay. Ming and Varian both low on health, but Varian goes down. This is game number 1 going over the side of Lightly Salted.
Yeah, what a fantastic showing that they had, understanding how to play with that Hammer, with that Hanzo on this map, and being able to dominate for most of this game for their opponents. They had so much map control throughout that entire matchup that it felt like they hardly gave PeelTeamSix room to breathe. And even when PeelTeamSix had any kind of advantage, it still wasn't enough to gain much during the match. I think we might have lost you again. We were doing so good.
At least it was after the game.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Gotta shout out Wafflecopter here. He turned with that Dragon Arrow what likely would have been a keep, potential double keep play into game. That 3-man stun taking down, I think it was Varian at the end there. Just a beautiful Dragon Arrow.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Looking at these stats, we see how much Hammer truly siege and how much damage Wafflecopter was able to do. So, great performance coming out from Lightly Salted. Now, per usual, coming into game number 2, you are now down 1 map from a team who is undefeated so far in NGS Season 5. How do you go about approaching what you do here?
You, coming into this, PeelTeamSix probably feels the similar way that Lucidology did last series. Coming into their map pick, and honestly, they got picked apart that game. The Hanzo, the Raynor, and the Hammer just took them apart piece by piece. You got to just take some time, calm calms, and just talk, okay, what are we thinking this game? Put last game out of your head. Don't let it mess with you. You just got to focus on the game that's in front of you right now.
Yeah, and I know that's definitely hard for a lot of teams, especially when you're in a situation you only have these 2 matches to really prove yourself. And I know a lot of people prefer those longer form 3-game, 5 games, but when all you have is this final game, it comes down to, do we think teams are planning so far ahead that there's stuff they want to play later that they're not willing to show now? Or do you think it's a bit too early for those kinds of things in this league?
I think it's a bit too early to kind of have those pocket picks of, okay, when we need it, we'll bust it out. I think it's always just, okay, here's an idea. Let's try and run with it. I think that's what PeelTeamSix is going to have to do. They're going to have to come with a comp and say, okay, let's try this. Let's give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is the worst that can happen at that point? I think any kind of win at this point is obviously what you're aiming for, but in a series where it might be expected to not go that way, you know, it's one of those things where you have to face this opponent, try to learn as much as you can, go through the replays, and see where you can clean up your your own play. So these early games in the season are a lot of learning opportunities for teams like PeelTeamSix against these teams who have been around for a while. Lightly Salted has been around NGS for some time, and they're comfortable here and know how to play it out.
Oh, definitely. PeelTeamSix, last game, I think they're probably going to look at those replays later and just try and learn from it, because sometimes if you lose a game hard, that's what you have to do. It's okay. Let's learn from this.
Yeah, and for a lot of teams, that's kind of the thing that definitely keeps them going. It looks like both teams are very prompt and wanting to get to game number 2. So let us get this started, where we will be moving to Infernal Shrines. And Infernal Shrines can have some excellent comebacks. Not so much on Towers of Doom, which was banned out in this series, but focuses here that maybe we saw from the last game that are going to carry over, do you think?
Lightly Salted, I still see focusing. They love their Johanna, they love the Lucio. I can see both those still potentially coming in. For PeelTeamSix, I think Artanis was good for the map, so I'm curious to see what sort of solo they bust out this game, because I think that will really be an area last game that hurt them that might work better from this game. And PeelTeamSix saying, yeah, you're not getting the hammer again. She was annoying last game. She's great on this map. We're not going to let it happen again.
Yeah, excellent ban. And the ban coming out from Genji on the side of Lightly Salted, which, the few plays that PeelTeamSix were able to win on, I feel like Genji was heavily involved with that X strike and really, helping to chunk down opponents. So great ban coming out there. Kael'thas first pick.
That's an
risky.
Early Kael'thas.
Yeah, that's, if it's something you really want, or it's something you're afraid your opponent might get, picking it early can be good. Heroes like Kael'thas, though, there's a lot to counter, there's a lot to punish, so PeelTeamSix really needs to draft a few heroes coming up that are focused on protecting him.
Definitely. And the Asmodan and Lucio coming in to the side of Lightly Salted, sticking with that Lucio they love so much. And Asmodan, this hero is a monster on this map.
Yeah, we saw it in our last series as well, just the amount of stacking you can do so quickly and how valuable knowing that your opponents are going to be clumped at these shrines and clumped around these punishers, being able to capitalize on that is a great situation for any Asmodan.
PeelTeamSix, though, responding with a Hanzo variant, picking up that Hanzo with the explosive arrows on 4 does have relatively good shrine clear, so it looks like they've strong control between the Kael'thas and Hanzo there, and picking up the variant again, really comfortable in that sort of focus this one taunted hero down sort of style they played last game.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if we're going to see Artanis again as that solo lane for PeelTeamSix, or if we might move to something a bit more commonly picked, like a Dahaka, for example, or even potentially a Blaze.
For PeelTeamSix, I think I'd want them to run the Blaze. I think I'd want them to have that extra layer of protection with the bunker, because Varian doesn't necessarily provide the best peel for a team. So I think Blaze, with the slows from his oil and his jet propulsion and bunker, would be a lot better there. That's a Lily.
That's a Lily. Also, that's a Kel'Thuzad.
Wow.
Talking about being able to punish, knowing that your team is going to group, this team is going to hurt. Sonya for the solo lane, I do like that quite a bit. Really great shrine clear as well with her.
Now, Lightly Salted still need their main tank, and it will be the Muradin.
Yeah, I like the Muradin. Really solid, able to get a couple stuns in. Again, set up for that Kel'Thuzad Asmodan type of play. The Lily for blinds against Raynor.
The blinds against Raynor, the cleanse into the potential Kel'Thuzad combo is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, interesting choice. We've had mixed success with Lily so far. It's definitely hard to run her in a lot of cases, especially when you have an option open like Deckard Cain, who, you know, different kits for sure, but when we're talking about that primary healing role, it can sometimes bite you if you're only healing the lowest health target in a vicinity and not being able to target it. And I've seen that really hurt some teams in the past, and so we're gonna have to see if PeelTeamSix can manage that.
Absolutely, and honestly,
You faded out after the honestly.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
All right, we will get BK back in just a minute, but as we wait, game number 2 coming up here. We're going to see if PeelTeamSix can get a win, their first win of this season. In the blue, we will have Hellblood on Varian, Blazem on Hanzo, Mesdrich on Lili, Ginny Ringo on Sonya, and Natek on Kael'thas.
and I believe I should be back in time
Yes.
to announce what we salted on the red side. We're going to have Wafflecopter on that Kael'thuzad, Asmodan, played by Renaissance, Murden from Delta, Raynor by Arc Valley, and Lucio, played by Absolute Yoda.
Yeah, we're getting a pause right out the gate from one of our teams, so we'll have to see what that's about. Get the game going back again real quick. PeelTeamSix, we talked about, you know, they're coming into the series down. They have to mentally reset, and I think they've put themselves in a situation again where they've drafted a composition where it's a lot of things need to be in the right place at the right time for this really to work. They have to be communicating so tightly in this match to make sure they're protecting that Kael'thas, that they know where Lili needs to be, that Hanzo is targeting who Hanzo needs to target, and that Sonya is soaking appropriately. So I think it will definitely be extremely uphill.
And I think that Lili's going to need to be on point with her cleanses against a Kael'thuzad who, as this game goes on, can just blow almost anybody on that team up.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if I'm PeelTeamSix, I'm terrified of this comp from Lightly Salted. The Asmodan, the Kael'thuzad, the Raynor.
Yeah, it's a lot of tools, and with that variant taunt, it just makes him a target to be like, you know, I'm here, I'm in someone's face, and let's just use defensively, and then he runs. But usually you're staying there in order to make an easy target for the rest of your team to capitalize on, which can be very easily counter-capitalized with a lot of those, you know, zoning-specific abilities coming out from those heroes. So, definitely tricky, not impossible, for sure. Kael'thuzad, if they can get back to him, falls fairly quickly, and with the trickling heal from Lucio, definitely not a lot to potentially deal with that.
Yeah, definitely. Two really lesser seen healers coming out this game with the Lili and the Lucio. Lili on level 1 is picking up that Wind Serpent, getting the Cloud Serpent on the Cloud Serpent casting the Blinding Winds, getting that extra damage off, could possibly be going on into a full Wind Serpent build.
Now that would be very interesting. We are not seeing Convection from Kael'thas, the joy of anyone else. Give us 1 second here. As we have to clear up some stuff between these two teams real fast. Anything else of note to talk about? Who do you think, in terms of clearing those shrines, could potentially win out between these two teams?
Shrine control? I really like the side of PeelTeamSix. I think explosive arrows from Hanzo on 4 will be a big burst there. And just having both the Sonya and the Kael'thas provide great control and just an ability to burn down those shrine monkeys.
Yeah, we are just resolving a couple issues here going on with the game. As of right now, let's actually go to a quick break while we resolve this situation, and when we come back, we'll continue where this game is just starting, so definitely don't go away, and we will be back in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we have resolved what is going on with these teams and are going to resume the game in just a second. Thank you for your patience. That was a situation a lot of us have never been in before, so apologies for that stalling real fast.
All right.
But we are hardly out the gates. All right. Play him off, keyboard cat. And we are a go here. Getting back to this game, both teams immediately barreling down the mid. Sonya quick with the rotation up top. A lot of fire damage coming out from Kael'thas already.
Definitely some damage spreading out. Some good chunk damage coming out from Hansa from those from that spread arrow. And Kael'thas landing some good chains into root. Lily already down to half health.
Yeah, already down to half and having to wait for her cups to be back up in order to heal anybody, really. But some great damage, like you mentioned, coming out from Wafflecopter already on that Kael'thas, trying to really capitalize on the protection of the Kael'thas that PeelTeamSix has to do and that clumping that will result.
Definitely. With Kael'thas, you're really going to be looking to stack up his Master of the Cold Dark quest, just looking to get both that CDR and that extra spell damage, because once he hits those 30 stacks, that's when he really comes online and just starts punishing heroes.
Yeah, and that gets scary for any team that has to face a Kael'thas, and you want to try to get an advantage before they can hit that, but at the speed that Wafflecopter's going, that might be a little bit difficult.
There goes a chain, connects, the root comes in, already at 8 stacks, a minute and a half in.
And at this rate, it's going to be done probably before heroics really even hit, which is excellent news.
But Sonya falls top in a 1v1 to Asmodan.
Asmodan just literal bodying over here on that solo laner for PeelTeamSix. The rest of the team trying to make up experience from that death, hoping that this camp will help them push a bit more and get this bottom lane at least in their favor.
I like what PeelTeamSix is doing here, grabbing the mid camp there, trying to grab that extra bit of push going on. We gonna get a pause here, or are they good? Because Muradin is no longer in the game.
Yep, we have to wait for teams to pause if they want. For now, looks like we're gonna have a Robo Mura until
Murabot coming in clutch. She came in clutch in HGC a while ago. Let's see if we can do the same in NGS.
Someone tag Murabot because we got him here. Trying, going to be available in 20 seconds. Kael'thas chunking a lot of damage onto Wafflecopter. But the healing from Lucio is enough to get him nearly back to full health. Varian hanging out in the shadows, seeing if anyone on lately salted, will step a little bit out of position.
Yep. Taunt has come online for that Varian, so he's a bit more of a tank now. and explosive arrows for that extra shrine clear from the Hanzo is now here. Kael'Thuzad sitting at 10 stacks on his Master of the Cold Dark, doing great so far. 5 away from that CDR, and 20 away from necessary spell power.
Yeah, the clear has already begun.
Comes in.
Ooh, beautiful taunt, the blind too. Kael'Thuzad
And it looks like Murabox is no more as Delta returns to action.
Delta is returning to quite the situation here up in the top lane. 17 skeletal defenders already in favor of PeelTeamSix as they try to keep the members of Lightly Salted away from this point so Sonya can clean that up without a problem.
Already at 25 of the skeleton minions, 28 now. This is great with Sonya.
Hot on the Kael'Thuzad!
That was great because that will both secure the shrine on the side of PeelTeamSix and stop Kael'Thuzad from getting any more of those stacks.
Absolutely. That was a glorious pick for PeelTeamSix. And now this Arcane Punisher, arguably the strongest Punisher available to you, is the first. Immediately gets baited over the wall. We're going to have to see if Resonance, not really with much mana to help assist with this damage, but with Wafflecopter back, already to have health, PeelTeamSix will be lucky to finish off this gate in time.
They do finish off that sidewall and just decide to take down that healing fountain in the top lane, getting rid of the extra sustain available. Chain comes out, hits another, and it's 14 out of the necessary ones. They're 1 away from that extra cooldown. And now Kael'Thuzad gets his all-important Glacial Spike, that ability to hit combos onto just one person, not requiring a second target to chain to.
That's going to be very dangerous news for PeelTeamSix if they're not watching their positioning for the rest of this match. Right now, they're spread out amongst the lanes, trying to soak, trying to grab camps, while their opponents losing soak in the bottom lane for now, sending Raynor there to go possibly match into Varian, or perhaps to go grab a camp of their own. Ringo, seeing 3 up in the top, decides to back up a bit and play it safe.
Yep. And on Kael'Thuzad, we do get Sun King's Fury going into that Living Bomb for that extra spread damage. And something of note here on the side of Lightly Salted, we get the Skullcracker on Muradin, looking for those basic attacks to get that mini stun off of Sonya to stop her from whirlwinding.
And if you stun Sonya out of that whirlwind, she's whirlwinding because she's likely in a situation she really doesn't want to be in. So great opportunity to get picks on her before she's able to heal up, but this bottom lane looks like Delta's looking for a sneak onto Hellblood here. Not enough follow-up from the
Sonya again low and goes down top to Renaissance.
Renaissance very low themselves, likely a race literally to the death. I thought maybe a minion might be able to poke out Resonance. However, not the case. Coming back to bottom, however, this skirmish is still occurring. Both teams now backing out respectively as Wafflecopter was extremely low in that situation.
Now Renaissance on the Asmo does manage to clear out the top lane of that pushing bruiser camp, so that will be neutralized there, and with that demonic summon, will actually give him a little bit of push value going on as the shrine comes online in bottom soon. But Sonya's headed up top to just help clear that out.
Yeah, clearing it out, this mid lane seeing a lot of action with that camp. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this Sonya Azmodan pairing. I'm hoping that Ringo finally is able to maybe not go in as deep as they're used to going against this Azmodan, as the punish seems to be real.
Absolutely. Now, Kael'Thuzad does finish off the Globe Quest to get his phylactery all set, and we are 18 stacks on the Master of the Cold Dark. Has slowed down a little bit as time's gone on. But the important thing for Lightly Salted is they hit that level 10 power spike first. We get the Shadow Fissure from Kael'Thuzad, the Tide of Sin on Azmodan, Raynor's Raider coming for that consistent damage on Raider, and Sound Barrier from Lucio.
Yeah, that Sound Barrier is going to make people like that squishy Kael'Thuzad and Raynor survive a lot longer in situations they may not want to be them, or allow them to engage in situations where they think they have the upper hand. Both these teams now coming out here. The Haymaker hits Hellblood, knocking him very far back. The count onto Wafflecopter as well.
With the Dragon Arrow, followed up by the Phoenix. Huge blow up onto both the DPS of Kelsuzad and the healer of Lucio. And it looks like another as Muradin goes down as well.
Muradin not having that dwarf toss to get that extra leap out of there. Dunk hits Ringo, but right now it's just one Jimmy Raynor and one Azmodan who cannot deal with the 5 members of PeelTeamSix on this shrine. So they're simply looking to do what they can, staying nearby, waiting to see if they can soak this bottom lane, prep it a little bit more in their favor before they know this Mortar Punisher comes toward their gate.
That fight was perfectly executed on the side of PeelTeamSix, doing exactly what they want, doing the taunt off onto the Kelsuzad, followed up by the leap, followed up by the Dragon's Arrow. He gets so much CC that by the time Kelsuzad can move on his own, he's already dead.
Now, already dead, but again, making quick work of this Immortal on the side of Lightly Salted. They just have so much clear for that Immortal. Kelsuzad with the combo, the dunk also following up onto Blazem, but not enough to get Hanzo out just yet.
The full combo does come out, but that is not a fully stacked Kelsuzad yet. If that were, that would likely be one dead Hanzo.
Yeah, thankful for Hanzo. Not the case here. Gives them a bit more survivability.
Hanzo's
The taunts coming out!
Dragon Arrow, and they do manage to get away this time, popping Sound Barrier to save Raynor's life.
Yeah, popping the Sound Barrier. This only leaves Raynor's Raider as the only thing left on the side of Lightly Salted. And so they end up retreating, and these skirmishes are going so in favor of PeelTeamSix compared to the last match.
Oh, absolutely. It seems like their synergy is really online here, stacking that CC just perfectly to get the maximum amount of uptime on it, just to try and get as much damage out on Raynor as possible. I think what separated that fight from the original fight at the shrine that allowed them to get that triple kill was Phoenix was not up and available to be thrown out for that little bit of extra burst damage.
Yeah, being able to have all those online to really synchronize them together is so key. Kelsuzad missing this heroic altogether. The taunt going back onto Arch Valley, though. Not too much able to follow up with it as for now, but at least, at the very least, this fight seems to be moving up to mid.
And the full combo of PeelTeamSix with the leap, the taunt, the Dragon's Arrow is all online. Speaking of online, Kelsuzad just finished his quest, and as he does, they die. You can see a full combo come out there onto the Hanzo and Lily, and they just stood no chance.
Yeah, absolutely no chance. Melted in the blink of an eye. Ringo again going into this Azmodan Resonance with way more health, able to make sure they back up, tap the well, and continue pushing in this top lane with these minions.
Now, Kelsuzad continuing to go into that full blow-up build. He has the armor reduction on one now, the Glacial Spike, and now he gets the slow on Chains of Ice. But as we're talking, Azmodan finally loses that 1v1 to Sonya Top. Sonya, fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I'm in deep trouble. So she says, I'm not going to fall for it the 3rd time.
Third time is a charm, as they say. So hopefully that is enough of an edge to give PeelTeamSix a bit more confidence now going into this next fight. But this invade up onto the Sonya is looking quite terrifying. Wafflecopter trying to predict where she's going to be and missing. Ringo must be having the biggest sigh of relief right now, or the biggest laugh, and I don't know which it is.
Possibly both.
Possibly both. Yeah. Lightly Salted,
now,
capitalizing on this booster
camp. Quests coming up on Lightly Salted, we have Annihilation, only at 164 stacks, not at that 200 yet necessary to complete Wrath yet. We got 15 on the Stormbolt quest, not enough for that Pierce yet. He is 9 away now with 16. And speaking of combos, goodbye, Varian.
Oh, my jaw is on the floor. That combo couldn't have been any more beautiful. Varian just melting, and PeelTeamSix immediately retreating without their main tank in this situation.
Kelsuzad lands that combo on the tankiest player on the side of PeelTeamSix, on the Varian, and he still is blown up. That just shows you that if anybody from PeelTeamSix gets hit, they're gone.
Absolutely gone. That lingering threat, especially of a good Kelsuzad, again, melting!
Lily.
Panda's gone. The break it down comes out, but not too much of a fight happening. Just enough to make sure that no members of Lightly Salted end up falling, given that some of their health bars were a bit low. However, they're now coming down with a Frozen Punisher in their favor. Sonya sneaking a camp during this time while Asmodan is pushing this top fort, which should surely go down with that camp. Varian falls yet again.
The blow up from that Kiltuzad and that Muradin.
The blow up is real, and this fort is finally exploding. Hanzo goes to respond to Asmodan in the top. Arch Valley trying to put a lot of damage out onto Ringo. Muradin getting very far forward. Punisher doesn't make it over the gate, and instead right in the back there. Sonya spitting to win. Trying to heal up just a bit.
That is not what PeelTeamSix wants with that Punisher still out there. Oh, goodbye, Lily.
Lily, yet again, as soon as they're back into the battlefield, it just seems like Waffle Copper already has a number out for them. Kael'thas going down. Sight's now on Ringo. Taunt goes out, and they end up going down. Hellblood is the last stand here at the core for the time being, but the combo from Waffle Copter.
Did you say was standing? Because
Yeah.
I don't see him anymore.
Oh, they kind of disappeared. Muradin does fall, but 4-1.
Muradin does fall the keep, but they will take a keep here. Waffle Copter is just destroying with these Kael'thuzad combos.
Yeah, the early game, again, we were seeing PeelTeamSix have so much success in these skirmishes, but ever since Kael'thuzad really came online, it is entirely Lightly Salted all the time.
Absolutely, just Waffle Copter, this time on the Kael'thuzad, just making those plays happen, just getting those hyper blow-ups going on. But Asmodan is actually topping the damage boards here for both hero and siege damage, having finally completed Wrath now with 202 stacks of Annihilation.
Yeah, one small victory in a sea of losses, and that is Kael'thas losing his cape and his life.
Kael'thuzad looks at KT and says, which one's the real KT?
It is I. I don't care if you were here first, but I am the true KT. And I just love this play from Waffle Copter. I can't talk about it enough. Just understanding such an intimate knowledge of this hero and being able to make the most of these combos. Blaze! Oh, barely had it out there, giving a kill over to Arch Valley. I think that was Waffle Copter saying, here, Arch, you can have one. I've been taking a lot of them on you.
Like, here, you can kill them this time. Now, level 20 hitting on the side of Lightly Salted. It is shifting Malice on the side of Kael'thuzad. Confident he can get those takedowns to reset the dash there. Just like, I think I can handle this.
I mean, the takedown's coming out. That's not necessarily too far out of reach. I set on this keep, and with a camp behind, we have to see. With level 20 as well, Lightly Salted possibly looking to end this game if they can get a few picks. Lily with the jugs, not enough to save Sonya.
Oh, the Haymaker comes out, and another Haymaker comes out. Huge Dragon Arrow hits 3.
Not quite enough. Hellbound trying to do what they can, but end up getting taken down. It is one Panda and one, well, not anymore. One Panda here to defend this core. And in game number 2, Lightly Salted showing that they want to remain undefeated this season, taking the swift 2-0 against PeelTeamSix. GG, well played.
Absolutely, just Waffle Copter coming online with that Kael'thuzad, hitting combo after combo, and just
yeah, totally making an entire mess. Let's look at the summary of stats real quick from that game. 17-7 in terms of kills, and Kael'thas, although doing a lot of damage, turns out that Kael'thuzad not top damage here. Resonance taking that crown with 45,000.
indeed Resonance with the Asmo on top of top Siege, top Hero, and top XP contributions. And Kael'thuzad, though, hitting so many big combos there, it's Raynor who tops the kills with 7.
Yeah, 7 kills, but still not enough to get the edge there. But I hope PeelTeamSix were able to get something out of this match. They were facing a very tough opponent here, and being able to even have a dominant showing early game shows that they could have a chance in this season, so long as they keep scrimming, keep practicing, keep studying their opponents, and as soon as more stats are available to these teams, I think we're going to start seeing the competitiveness and the evenness of these matches get really close together.
Oh, absolutely. I think now that the first week or two is done, those initial games are out of the way, the stats are going to start coming in, and players can start doing their research, saying, okay, here's what they like to play, here's where they like to go, we can work with this.
Yeah. Let's move over to Lobby 1, because I believe we will have an interview with Absolute Yoda from that last game from Lightly Salted.
Sounds good.
It looks like here we go. There is that Lucio. Congratulations, Yoda. How are you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
We are doing quite well. Those were quite some games that your team dominated in. Coming in, you were undefeated, I believe, so far this season. Were you coming in and expecting it to be such a dominant performance in your favor?
No, not really. I kind of just play it by ear. I mean, we're actually doing really good this season. We seem to actually work really good as a team this season.
That's good.
Yeah, we absolutely saw it with that Kael'Thuzad play coming out from Wafflecopter that last game as well. Being able to hit those combos. It seemed like you all were really synergizing. Was there anything in between seasons that you as a team were really trying to improve on that you saw as a weakness from last season?
Try to pick a role, get everyone a role. That was the biggest thing, who plays what, because I was playing healer and solo lane, but I think I'm going to stick as healer, support role.
Yeah, and I mean, those Lucio plays were really good. We don't see him come out as often, so that was quite a joy to see for me personally, since he's one of two supports I tend to play.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
I love seeing Lucio.
Yeah, he's so much fun.
Everyone doesn't like Lucio. I like him. If he doesn't get banned or picked, he's a good pick.
Yeah, you always drop the beat when you want to. BKL, any questions for Yoda?
So, game one went fantastic for you guys. You guys had a great draft, a great Immortal Race comp. Game 2, early game, 210, seemed a bit more shaky for you guys. They got some big blow-up comps with that Hanzo, Sonya, Varian. What were comms like, and how did you guys really calm down after getting a few picks there and falling a bit behind as things came online for PeelTeamSix? What did you kind of do as a team to kind of keep motivations up as you got later into that game?
That was more, I know we at the beginning with Delta dropping out and then disconnecting, and that right there, you just lose team synergy. At that point, we just lost our tank and kind of need our tank here. But what really turned it all on was right after KT took out the other KT. It kind of just got lit right there. But
Yeah.
that was rough at the beginning. I got nervous in the beginning.
Yeah, huge shout-outs to Waffle. Just, that dude was a monster on Kael'Thuzad. Just his combos came out, and it didn't matter if he hit Lily or Kael'Thas or Varian. Whoever he hit was going to die.
Oh yeah, he's definitely good at what he does. I'll give him that. That's just probably why he's captain. He can carry my bronze 5.
Great way to start off the season, going 3-0 in your series to go 6-0 to start the season. What's the team's aspirations? Where do you want to end up this season?
I'd like to get past the top 3. I don't know, were we 3 or 4 last season? I'd like to get up in, first. Want to eat some cereal.
Some off-brand cereal.
I hear off-brand cereal's got it coming for us. So.
Ooh, already some team rivalries.
Yeah, I seen it. So I'll have to bring my salt to their breakfast.
Oh god, I can't wait for that. I hope to see cereal salt grand finals. Let's go, if possible.
It's
Quite
gonna be a good one. I think they're 6-0 right now. We're 6-0. I haven't looked at much of the other stats past that, but I'm
Oh,
looking
boy.
forward to a good match.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. All right, well, so congratulations again. Before we let you go, we will give you the floor for anyone you want to shout out that's watching right now.
Oh God, really, my team and anyone that's actually anyone watching. I appreciate all the support that we're getting, and everyone on our team, because there ain't no I in team.
But there is an I in win, and there is an I in lightly salted. So you got enough eyes to make up for that.
Right? Yeah, there is.
All right, Yoda, thanks again. Congratulations, and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, y'all too.
All right, thank you. All right, well, that wraps it up for us here at the Nexus Gaming Series today. BKL, those were some amazing games. Thank you so much for coming to join me here. It was a blast. I hope we get to do it again. For the folks at home, if they want to find you, where could they find you? If they want to ask you about your analysis from that game?
All right. If anybody's looking for me, you can just hop over to the NGS Discord. I will likely be on. Division B moderator, so just shoot me a message whenever. Honestly, love to talk about this game, or any games, really. Just always happy to be around. And big thanks to you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I love having new faces here. It's always a blast. So hopefully you all see BKL around the NGS scene more, casting and analyzing, doing some great stuff. But that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. But don't go anywhere just yet, because I want to see what other games are possibly happening this evening. It is a bit late, so there may not be anything going on right now, but let's take a peek. It looks like there are still some things going on.
A few games going on.
Yeah,
Let's try not to read an AI game this time.
Well, not an AI game this time. It looks like Jason has a game going on right now, so we will bounce over there where he has Bone Boys and Division 9 Black going on. So watch out for that. As for me, yet again, thanks so much for tuning in and for supporting these teams and for supporting the Nexus Gaming Series. And we will see you next time. Thank you.
See you guys.